like literally tens of millions of dollars easily. One of the big things is it's like way easier than you think. You know, I always wanted to be a billionaire, but I always wanted to do crazy shit. It makes sense if 20 years from now I get to politics and I have all this power, I'm a billionaire. Like, it makes sense. We're scaling Twitter budgets, daily spend on ads by 20% a day, and in 3 days we should hit $1 million a month.
Dans cette vidéo, je te montre un extrait d'une conversation que j'ai eue avec Alex Slater qui a créé l'application Quitter, qui est une application qui sert à quitter la consommation de pornographie et avec laquelle il génère plus de 500 000 $ par mois. Et dès le premier mois, il générait déjà des dizaines de milliers d'euros par mois et il est monté à 100 000 en moins d'un mois. C'est un business model sur lequel on génère beaucoup d'argent tous les deux et pour lequel on avait envie de discuter de la vision qu'on en avait. À la base, c'était un appel privé business que j'avais simplement avec lui, mais on a pris une trentaine de minutes pour transformer ça en une interview et une vidéo que je vais partager avec toi à cet instant. Tu vas avoir le point de vue et la vision d'un jeune qui génère des millions d'euros à un âge aussi jeune, qui lui-même est entouré d'autres jeunes de son âge ou même plus jeunes qui génèrent aussi des millions d'euros. Quelle est sa vision du business? Est-ce que c'est un business qui est encore viable à l'heure actuelle? Et quelle est sa vision pour passer au niveau supérieur? Prends de quoi noter parce que ça va sûrement t'inspirer. Bonne vidéo.
Yeah, so there are a few subjects that I would like to discuss with you actually. I've seen that you're pretty open about the fact that you wanted to run for Prime Minister in the UK. This is an interesting topic that we don't see a lot of people being, open about it at such a young age, and also from that angle of you being in business. So I think this is quite a nice topic that I would like to discuss with you too. But first, I would like to have your review on entrepreneurship and the current state of the market right now, because I would say, and especially when you went to Miami, you've probably seen a lot of people, in all the different Miami industries like SMMA, trading, dropshipping, and so on. Do you have a different opinion on building apps such as what you do, direct-to-consumer apps, than these other markets? How do you position building apps in terms of opportunity on the market right now? I'm curious about that.
I don't know. I think we're going through a very exploratory time period in entrepreneurship. A lot of people are waking up to how profitable social media is if done right, and the power of attention. And all of the industries you just named, like SMMA, crypto, trading, all of these are about attention, and driving traffic to certain things. And then the arbitrage of that is like, okay, if I can get people to buy this crypto coin, maybe I can profit. And so there's a lot of industries that have been sparked here. It's interesting because apps are also a very fast growing industry. And people are realizing that instead of selling products, e-com products that have very low margins, you can create a digital product and push it through influencers because there's a lot of intentional influencers and you can make a lot more money because software has zero costs for distribution. There's almost pure profit. The only cost is marketing. As you've seen with Kali-AI and as you've seen with Quitter, these companies, these apps can get to millions of dollars a month. And you can start it from your bedroom, especially with AI right now. And if you prompt it well, you can create a multi-million-dollar app. This is way bigger than everything before it.
What got you into thinking so big? Because as you said, there is to me, there is kind of a dichotomy in that market in the sense as you said, you can build it from your bedroom, but then a year or two later, you're caught into thinking about making $1 million a month with your app. So was it something that you grew your vision around understanding the potential by living it? Or is it like a vision that you had from the start? Like, I'm not starting it to make 20 grand. I'm starting it from the start to make $1 million a month.
So for me specifically, my story is a little interesting. When I was 17, I just finished high school in London. And, I always wanted to be a billionaire. Like, I always wanted to do crazy shit. I started learning about software and the internet and realizing how much more money is in that industry than anything else. Like, the top companies in the world were Meta, Google, Apple, Amazon, Netflix. These are all tech companies. So actually, my first project was a social media platform, a bit like Instagram, a bit like Facebook, a bit like Twitter. And I tried to raise $100 million pre-seed to get the idea off the ground. And obviously that didn't work out, and I failed brutally. But that was actually my first app. And this is before the consumer app bubble. So currently what we're in right now with the Kali-AI, the Quitters, this is consumer app bubble when we're building products for regular people that would pay money for. So this is before that. Growing my vision to hit these $1 million months. It was Zach actually that inspired me. And Zach's the founder of Kali-AI. I'm at his house right now. Or not his house, his apartment right now. And I snuck into a hotel in Fontainebleau, Miami. I was dead broke. I spoke to him and he told me he was working on a few consumer apps and he was making $1,000 a month. And I was like, holy shit, like you're making like real money with these consumer apps. A few months later, he launched Kali, and he told me, I believe this app's going to make 50K in 1 month. And I'm like, bro, no way. No way. You know, I think by month 2, it hit 50K. Month 3, it hit like 100. And then they just kept scaling. They did 500,000. And I think maybe it was around 200K a month where I was like, okay, let me start building my own app. I built Rich AI, which failed, but then I built Quitter. Quitter's first month, we did 30K. And, you know, so Quitter's first month, we did 30K. Kali, they did 250K. And no one had ever showed the world what was possible in consumer apps. There was us, 30 and 200K, which isn't that much. And then there was like Flow, which was doing 10 million a month. And there was just like a massive gap. Like no one had ever done it before. And yeah, like it didn't start as a vision where I'm like, I'm going to hit 2-3 million a month. That wasn't the vision. It was just like whatever Zach achieved for me, whatever Zach achieved, I know I could do as well.
La première fois que j'ai entendu parler d'Alex moi-même, ça m'a tellement retourné le cerveau, la quantité d'argent qu'il y avait sur ce marché et surtout la friction à l'entrée, c'est-à-dire la possibilité pour quasiment n'importe qui de construire une application avec des skills, des compétences qui avant étaient réservées aux développeurs, à des gens qui avaient travaillé pendant des années. Quand j'ai vu qu'il y avait tellement peu de barrières à l'entrée et pour autant un potentiel tellement élevé en comparaison que j'ai décidé de moi-même lancer un business là-dedans et en quelques mois, on a généré plus de $50,000 en moins d'un mois. Pour cette raison-là, on a tellement d'idées, tellement d'inspiration avec des gars comme Alex qu'on a décidé d'ouvrir des partenariats dans lesquels on va travailler directement avec vous pour monter d'abord l'application jusqu'à 5 000 € par mois et seulement après ça, on va rentrer en partenariat directement, on sera rémunéré au pourcentage sur les revenus de ton application avec pour objectif de créer une application qui génère entre 5 et 6 chiffres par mois. Tu vas avoir mes idées personnalisées, toute la stratégie qu'on utilise qui m'a été inspirée justement de celle d'Alex et qui m'a servi moi à monter ma propre application à plusieurs dizaines de milliers d'euros par mois. On va tout mettre dans ton application à toi et comme on sera en partenariat, on aura tout intérêt à même te donner les templates, les stratégies de marketing, les contacts des influenceurs, comment générer de l'attraction autour de ton app, comment avoir une idée qui pète et tout ça en travaillant directement avec toi. Pour ça, on a mis en place un formulaire sous la vidéo dans lequel je te montre le parcours avec lequel j'ai créé mon application, le potentiel qu'il y a sur le marché et où on va parler de construire ta propre idée d'application en intelligence artificielle pour que d'ici quelques semaines, tu aies déjà ton application viable sur l'App Store qui génère des revenus. Si tu as envie de voir comment est-ce qu'on peut faire précisément, je t'ai mis un lien sous cette vidéo.
Okay, so this is not necessarily like the state of the market that gave you the idea that, okay, I can do it, but this was really seeing your friend making it and you were like, okay, I can do it too.
Exactly.
Okay. And would you think like, as of right now, for example, because a lot have changed in the market, even though it wasn't too long ago, like with, as we were discussing before, vibe coding and stuff like that, would you think that the market is at a different state now than it was before when you started, even though it was very recent?
Yeah. I mean, it's way easier to build. I also think there's a lot more awareness of the strategy to go from 0 to 100K. And those are the big things. It's like, those are the big things. The ease of building and knowing how to get to big amounts. Before, when I started, it was just like, you figure it out yourself. Now we've been very vocal about strategies online.
Yeah. Okay. And about the vision, because I think it was interesting the switch in positioning in your mindset by seeing how big it was, and at first thinking 50K a month was impossible, and now thinking 20 times more for yourself. Do you think that there is an impact on the vision and the way you're going to build the app if you start from the get-go to be like, okay, I'm building it for $1 million a month, or it's like just make some money, make some money, and you'll see and figure out as you grow?
Yeah, I think it's important to know how big you can take it. If you build like a difficult product that's like that could like if you build like I could build a perfect product for you, Valentin, that you would use every single day, but it's not necessarily like the product that will get millions of people to use it. And so I think the big picture should always be in mind. Don't think about millions a month and then you have $10 in revenue. That's just going to kill your motivation. You should focus on a big idea, high pain point, focus on getting the first sale. If you can get the first sale, you can get 10 sales. If you can get 10 sales, you get 100. If you get 100, you get 1,000. You just keep scaling up. And, you know, if you make money in one channel, if you did 100x the output, could you make 100x more? And that's the strat, you know? And the millions will come.
Interesting. I would also like to get a touch on the question that you've asked me before when you've asked me, what do I think makes me a good entrepreneur or is my differentiative point? Do you have an opinion on yourself on trying to reflect on what made you successful in the app game or just in general? What would you say from looking at the market makes you different and makes it achievable for someone like you to achieve fast results at such a young age? You know,
I think you need to have a sense of zooming out. If you put an achievement like $1 million a month, 5 million, etc., on a pedestal, it becomes harder to achieve it. You know, like I do crazy numbers, but I know that big picture, I want to get into politics. I want to be a billionaire. And it's like, if I'm doing 500K a month, that's just revenue. That's not even profit. So, and that's for the company. That's not for me personally. So it's just like, if I want to spend $30 million on a house, this is never going to get me there. Yeah. So it's like, okay, just keep pushing, like figure out how to scale this up. Yeah, that's a big one. But for me personally, and I was speaking to Zach about this, we were driving the Lambo, we just came back from a fight. He was fighting in the rain when it was sick. I asked him, why do you think we were success such areas? Why do you think that we are elevated amongst most people's thoughts? Like we're living in a complete different world. And we came to the conclusion that we're just interested in the world. The more you learn, the more you understand, the more you know what to do next and next and next. That's the key, bro.
Yeah.
Understand.
That's very interesting that you say that, because I had a conversation with my associate also, who also lives in Florida, and he had the exact same argument about himself. He was like, I'm just interested and very curious with things. And also, would you say, because there is being curious in the sense that, oh, you look something, people would believe that of themselves. With scrolling, they're like, oh, I'm curious, I like so many things. The same way people believe that they have such wide taste in music. Some people would believe that they're so curious and interested about everything. But really, there's a difference between hearing something and going into something. And I would say it's like, there is being curious from an outside perspective, but also being curious of what is it if I practice it, How do you identify that? And would you say it's a key factor? Is it related to fear in people, do you think? A kind of fear that you don't have, or it's just that you're just drawn into novelty? Or
I think drive is more important than curiosity. That was actually the part I missed. You need curiosity and drive. It's hard for me to relate to others or give advice because I've always just been this way. But I have so much self-belief and like I don't understand why I would not believe to the max and put all the work in and figure it out. Like I don't understand why people would skip that part. And if you don't, sure, you can be curious and you can be in my Discord and learn about apps and understand exactly how to scale an app from 0 to 1 million, and like you can fucking recite it to everyone around you. But if you don't have the drive to actually figure it out and do it yourself, then like you're not gonna make it.
So do you think there's a bit of fatality, but also the vehicle can matter? How important would you say the vehicle is in the context of making it easier for people? Like, for example, would you believe that with vibe coding, it's going to make people who would have never gotten into apps in the first place do it? Or is it just the do or do no matter what?
Yeah, I think there definitely is. Like the vehicle does make things easier. But yeah, I think like the killers will figure it out regardless of the circumstances. I've always believed that.
Yeah.
Always believed that. And like, I don't even know, bro. Like this might be like crazy to a lot of people, might hurt a lot of people, but like you're either a killer or you're not. And like, if you're not, then like there's really no amount of motivation or no amount of material that can make you want. Like you either just are born a killer or not. And it's just like the way it is, I feel like.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Of course, yeah. Of course, 100%. But also I would reflect, because for me, it took a bit more time to have the amount of money that I have right now. I didn't have it at your age. I had a quite interesting life and did some interesting things, but I wasn't as successful as I am now. But maybe you still have that opinion. So I'm curious too, even though you feel like you're a killer and you're driven and you see that you're doing things that most people aren't doing, how satisfying is it for you to now have the physical proof that you really are the kind of man that you thought you were earlier when you were starting the businesses and it didn't necessarily work as you planned, and now you have the physical proof that you are this guy?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, bro. I'm getting goosebumps as you say that, just like reflecting. Like it's pretty fucking insane. Like if I woke up in my body today, 5 years ago, and I saw what I had and who I'm with and like the girls I'm fucking talking to, like I would be in disbelief. Like I would be in disbelief, but I would never doubt it. That's the key. Like I would be like, holy shit, this is amazing. This can't be real, but I would always know that it makes sense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a far fallacy. Like it makes sense that I become this. It makes sense in 20 years from now I get into politics and I have all this power, I'm a billionaire. Like it makes sense because the people that think this way end up in those positions anyway. Like that's just like a natural course.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, like it's pretty insane. And like that's when I believe the real game like begins. Have this self-belief, you know what you want, and then you actually get it. You're like, oh wow, like this, I'm like really playing this game, and there's like there's way more levels now. There's like, yeah, it's so interesting, bro.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, it is. This is something that I like to reflect on myself too. When you have a good, I would say that when you're into self-help and personal development the way you probably are with the kind of apps that you're working with, I could guess that you're the kind of person who works on himself. You can kind of push the button inside of your own brain, and when you try to push your own gratitude, you can be like, this is fucking crazy, you know, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah. For real. And it's like you wouldn't trade your life for anyone else's.
Yeah.
You just like, you know, you can do anything you want, so like why would you like you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. And in the business side of things, like, and because you, as you said, one of your goals is to go into politics. Do you have also another perspective on business, or would you say you're satisfied with your business model right now with building apps, and you're just trying to scale it and change the scale in that realm?
Yeah. So I guess in the short, like, this is my plan. Like, hopefully, if this podcast does well, like, you can clip it up, and like what I say becomes true. But even like 6 to 9 months. Maybe 12 max, but honestly, I think it's closer to like AdStrip. Maybe 4 to 6 to 9 months, somewhere in that range. I'd probably sell Quitter for $100 million, and that is like totally realistic. And I probably would work on a few more other business stuff. I want to get into music. I want to do this, that, the other. Politics is a game I feel very drawn to because people in power in the UK just aren't smart at all. And if we don't have like real business people that run countries, at least not in England. We have it in America and it's done pretty well. And yeah, like I really want to take it to the next level. Make it fucking amazing country.
Yeah. So your goal would be, I mean, your short-term goal would be to push Quitter, exit for 100 mil. And then what's your view on the you want to go into more fun stuffs, kind of like music? Building apps is pretty fun too. It's not the most boring business, you know, but
yeah. So yeah. It will probably be music next, and the reason is like there's a lot of money in music. You look at Drake, look at Kanye, look at Rihanna, look at like they're in very elevated positions because of the power and attention they have. And like image matters a lot. If I go out and build another app, if I go out and build another company, I become too much of like a nerd tech guy. I want to be like a Drake. I want to like do my stint here, make 100 mil, drop it, and then get into the music and like. I don't know. That's like my plan because like with you don't lose these skills. And like if I ever want to get back into like real business, I could do that like that as well.
Yeah. So you would say that, and that sounds pretty obvious, but I would say it too. So I'm still gonna ask. As you say, you don't lose the skill of business, but still understanding the market and understanding like how to push, you know, how to do viral social media influencer or stuff like that is a skill that requires understanding the market a bit. You know, it's like if you're not into social media for 5 years, you're lost, you know. But you would say what made it for you was the drive, the understanding of like business in general, or understanding social media precisely also played a big part.
I think it's obviously the drive, because like maybe the interest wasn't there originally, but the drive gave me the interest to figure it out. You know what I mean? So yeah, I believe drive is number one.
Yeah. What do you think you would have done if Quitter didn't make any money in the first month, for example, but still seeing your friend make it? Do you think that would have discouraged you, or would you have been like, I'm never stopping until that makes money?
I think about this a lot. Like I think about like Quitter didn't become successful, or if I wasn't in the position I am at least, and I saw Zach and everything he has and what he's done and like what he's achieved and where he's going, I would feel fucked, bro.
Yeah.
I would be like, what the fuck? But like that is like heartbreak.
Yeah.
You know? Like, not heartbreaking like I'm jealous, like I'm happy for him, but I'm heartbreak that I could have done it myself, but I didn't. I let myself down. And like, you know, you get the most motivation during the heartbreak, and that's when you just like become a killer. Like I can't announce this, but like there's something that happened in this world, in this app world, that has like really given me the same level of heartbreak in a positive way. And now I'm like, I'm coming for everything now. I think I've been way too stagnant with Twitter. We've been doing 500,000 since like April or May, and it's now January. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with this shit. Now I'm ramping up. As I said to you earlier, our budget is going up 20% a day. In the next week, we'll be at $1 million a month. The week after that, we should be at $2 million a month. I want a whole new ethos about speed and scaling, and we've missed that for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, I would have figured it out. I would have done something else. I would have never stopped until I made it. And I think everyone watching should adopt the same mentality. Like, just because you don't know me or Zach personally doesn't mean like we're any different than you. Like you'll see in my recent blog I posted, like, this life is the best fucking life you can live right now.
Yeah.
And the fact you're all out there somewhere that's not in my shoes and like having this much fun like is a problem. You need to like work hard.
Yeah, freedom tastes so fucking good. That's crazy. I could just repeat that all day. That's fucking insane. I was reflecting on what you just said about like how you would feel, and I would have said the exact same thing. Obviously, I would blow up from inside seeing everybody succeed around me without me doing anything. Even worse, if I'm actively trying and it seems like I'm having nothing. But do you think that people who watch social media a lot and watch people who flex, especially, because what's interesting with the app game and why you're going to make it so big probably also in the influence game is because you're one of the only business builder when you build an app that shows its revenue online, 100% verifiable. Nobody can change that. So this is pretty crazy in terms of trust. But don't you think that people can sometimes, like people at home, they think they have a drive, they see people flexing. It kind of feels in their brain the same way as we would have felt having friends who succeeded, because maybe none of their friends have any kind of drive. The only people who are driven that they know about are the people who are already on social media and they see them taking off and they buy a Lambo, and the year after they buy a Koenigsegg, and the year after they buy 500k watches, And do you think it discourages people before even trying? And what do you think these people should do?
Why would it discourage them?
I mean, I would guess that this is how some of them feel, in the sense that I would say it's loser reaction. When you're ego driven, you're like, fuck, I can do it too, But this is purely ego. This is not just logic.
Are you saying that the fact they can see other people being successful would discourage them themselves?
Not necessarily that, because this is unnatural to me. This is absolutely not what happens to me, but maybe they would feel like someone dunked on them and therefore they fell,
Okay. I mean, I have a controversial take, but like, I mean, if you're that much of a pussy about it, like, I don't think there's any good for you.
Yeah.
To like make it either.
Yeah, making apps won't save you.
Like, I don't know if there's a mentality you can adopt where like you feel more inspired. I mean, maybe you can, like, instead of judging these people, just like, this is real money that's like flowing through this ecosystem somehow. Maybe you should reframe your perception of things and be like, okay, how can I do the same thing? Like, or sometimes I look at the sky and I see like a multi-$100 million plane fly above me and know that it's like carrying passengers that paid millions of dollars for that flying. I'm like, it's just flying over my head. Instead of being ignorant, I'm like, fuck, like there's like a whole like other world of business.
Yeah, for sure. I like also when I'm inside of a building, especially if it's a pretty nice building, calculating every apartment, how much it's worth, and seeing that I'm sitting on $1 billion right now, literally,
Everything in this like room, like someone made one. Like the designer, the guy that transports the materials, the builder, the homeowner, the rent, the landlord, the bank, the credit card. There's a lot of money flowing through everything.
Last question also is, did you feel something different going into Miami, coming from Europe, especially London, which is quite of a mess right now for the last few years? But in terms of business, I also like that this is very interesting to me, because we have a bunch of like very precise, similar opinion in the sense of like the speed you were talking about, the slowness when you came back to Europe, which was very shocking to me too. What was some of the things that you defined as different, that you would define as different in Miami that makes you want to go back?
I got a house in Miami. It was a $10 million house with YouTube content. And a few months later, we got evicted because we threw too many parties. And instead of staying in Miami, I missed my friends, I missed my family, I missed my brother, I missed everything else, like at home, my car. And I decided to get an apartment in London. And I'm still paying for that apartment. I live there right now. And, life was good. Like, it slowed down, but because I was meeting so many friends, like, I didn't feel the transition as hard because I was getting dopamine elsewhere. But, so yeah, I just got back to Miami a few days ago. This is my first time out of London in 2 months. I usually travel way more often than that. Literally, on the first day, I pretty much closed almost like $1.1 million in investment, and also like completely mentally flipped the trajectory of Quitter. Like, I understood so much in that first day that I was like rushing over Germany. I was like ready to get shit done. By the second, third, fourth day, I'm like, the more I stay here, the more I want to just stay here. I don't want to leave. Like, things are happening at a much faster pace. Like, I believe in myself more. I look around, there's like fucking billions of dollars of people here.
Did that change, or maybe you had it before, but this was like a real life experience of like the impact of environment to you? Yeah.
And I had remembered it before. Like, that's the reason I got my O1 visa. That's the reason I moved to the US. But like, now I'm seeing it again, and I don't want to go back to London.
Yeah. Especially Miami has that sense where you
you really feel like you're floating to me. You know, the city, especially Brickell, it depends obviously where you are on the city, but it feels so clean compared to Europe. You feel like you're literally flying around the street.
It's so beautiful and the weather's so good, bro. Like in London, it'll just be raining and like I don't have any entrepreneurial friends, or they're few and far between. It's just like, why would I be in that? Why do I want to be the best one in the city? I want to be surrounded by people smarter and more successful. And like, especially in my 20s, bro, I'm not going to commit a whole year to London if I know that's not going to make me grow the most as I can as a person. I want to be here. I want to make like hundreds of millions of dollars and then look back in a few years and be like, shit, like this was like, that was insane. That was an insane run.
Sick. Well, okay, man. Thank you very much for your time.
Good, bro.
Take care.
You too. And then send me the podcast.
Okay, for sure, man. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.